All right, so you're here with us because you want to cut through the noise and really figure out what's going on in the AI world.
Absolutely.
And AI is changing so fast.
Oh yeah, it's a whirlwind.
So consider this like your personalized shortcut
That's a great way to put it.
to what's really happening in the AI landscape.
Exactly. And today we're going deep into this this rivalry that's forming between OpenAI, the big name, big player,
Yeah, everyone knows them.
and this incredibly agile Chinese startup DeepSeek.
Yeah, DeepSeek is coming up fast.
Yeah, they're doing some really interesting things.
Really interesting, and it's not just about whose algorithms are better or who's got the whizziest model.
It's deeper than that.
It's deeper. Yeah, it's like their whole vision for AI
Yeah, their fundamental approach to it
is very different.
and the strategies they're using are fascinating.
Yeah, and the moves they're making
Oh yeah.
are happening in real time. So
It's unfolding right before our eyes.
it's an exciting time to be watching all this.
Definitely a lot of change afoot.
So to bring you all of this, the inside scoop,
Yeah,
we've gone through a ton of different sources.
we have. We've been digging deep.
We've got articles from Reuters Business Insider, the Wall Street Journal, Time Magazine.
We wanted to get a well-rounded perspective.
Yeah, and we also looked at DataCamp.
Oh yeah, they have some great analysis.
They do a benchmark of these different models.
Really helpful for comparing performance.
Exactly. And then we also looked at an ArcSum research paper.
Gotta get into the technical side of it.
Yeah, that was a deep dive.
But crucial for understanding the details.
Definitely. And then also we've been keeping an eye on
Yeah.
what people are talking about on Reddit.
Oh yeah, the local Unama community.
Oracle Lemand, yeah, they always have the inside scoop.
They're on the cutting edge for sure.
So all of this is coming from the past few months of 2025.
Yeah, it's all very fresh.
And our goal for you today is to,
Yeah, what's the mission?
what's the mission of this deep dive?
Right.
It's to extract the key developments so you know what's actually happening.
Absolutely, we're going to cut to the chase.
Yeah, and we're going to try to decode.
Right, like break down.
Yeah, break down their strategies.
What are they really trying to achieve?
Exactly.
So let's jump in.
Yeah, let's introduce the players here.
Okay, so first up, we've got OpenAI,
The big dog.
the big dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been around for a while now, founded in 2015.
Wow, a decade.
A decade. Yeah, and they're the ones who really kind of popularized these large language models
With GPT.
with their GPT series, exactly. You've probably heard of GPT-4, maybe even used it. And GPT-5 is on the horizon.
Everyone's waiting for that one.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of buzz.
So their stated aim is to, quote, create safe AI that benefits all humanity.
It's a lofty goal, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, really ambitious.
Yeah, very idealistic.
But they're putting their money where their mouth is.
Oh yeah, they're not messing around.
Like they've got this Stargate project.
Yeah.
Have you heard of this?
I have. It's making waves.
$500 billion
That's a lot of zeros.
over 4 years
Wow.
just to build out their AI infrastructure.
It shows how seriously they're taking this.
Yeah, it's a statement.
A big one.
So they believe that having the most powerful infrastructure is the way to stay on top.
They're doubling down on that approach.
So let's talk about the challenger here.
Okay, so DeepSeek,
DeepSeek, the up-and-comer.
yeah, much younger company founded in 2023.
Okay, so just a couple of years old.
Yeah, but they're moving fast.
And they're based in Hangzhou, China.
Right in the heart of China's tech scene.
And they've got some serious financial backing.
Oh yeah, they're backed by High Flyer.
That's a big Chinese hedge fund.
Yeah, they've got deep pockets.
So DeepSeek's approach is all about
Yeah, what's their angle?
open source. They're very focused on open source.
Interesting. So making their models accessible to everyone.
Yeah, they want to democratize AI.
That's a very different philosophy.
Yeah. And they're also really emphasizing affordability,
Making it cheaper to use.
making it accessible to not just the big corporations.
To smaller companies, researchers, individuals.
Exactly. They want to open it up.
It's an interesting strategy for sure.
So their flagship product is DeepSeek R1,
That's their open source large language model.
and it's been gaining a lot of attention.
Yeah, it's making some noise.
So they've been making some big moves recently.
Oh yeah, what have they been up to?
Back in March, just a couple months ago,
Okay.
they launched this new update.
A new version.
Yeah, DeepSeek V3 0324.
That's a mouthful.
It is, and people are really excited about it.
Why is that what's so special about it?
Because it's got much better reasoning abilities
just
and coding ability.
So it can think more logically and write better code.
Exactly. It's like a direct challenge
Yeah.
to OpenAI's models.
They're coming right for them.
Yeah. So Reuters even reported on this.
What did they say?
Back in March, they said that it was a, quote, significant improvement
Okay.
in reasoning and programming abilities.
So it's not just hype, it's real progress.
Yeah, they're backing it up with results.
That's impressive, especially for such a young company.
Yeah, they're moving fast.
So we've got these two players, OpenAI and DeepSeek,
Right.
each with their own unique backgrounds and goals.
Yeah, and 2025 has already been a big year for AI.
It has been. We've seen some major development.
Definitely. So DeepSeek's big move was that March update,
Right. The DeepSeek v3.0324 release.
showing they're serious contenders.
Yeah, they're not just playing around.
And OpenAI's response
They do.
was that huge Stargate project announcement back in January.
Oh, yeah, that was a big deal.
That $500 billion investment.
Wow.
It's like their counter strategies.
They're saying we're not going to be outdone.
Exactly. They're doubling down on infrastructure.
It's an arms race for sure.
So how do their models actually compare?
Yeah, let's get into the nitty-gritty.
Let's put them head to head.
Okay, so there's this benchmark called Math 500.
Okay, what is that?
It's designed to test an AI's math reasoning skills.
Oh, so like how well they can solve complex math problems.
Exactly. It's a really tough test.
And DataCamp ran this benchmark.
On both OpenAI and DeepSeek's models.
Okay, so what happened?
Well, DeepSeek R1 scored 97.3%.
Wow, that's impressive.
It is. And OpenAI's O1 model scored 96.4%.
So DeepSeek actually beat them.
They did by a small margin, but still significant.
That's a big deal, especially because DeepSeek is so much younger.
It shows how quickly they're catching up.
So it's not just about performance though, right?
Right. There's also the cost factor.
Yeah. How expensive is it to actually use these models?
That's a huge consideration for a lot of people.
Especially if you're not a giant corporation.
Exactly. So the local Lamar community on Reddit,
They're always talking about this.
we're obsessed with cost effectiveness.
And they've been saying that DeepSeek's models are incredibly efficient.
Like, how much cheaper are we talking?
Like they're saying you can get over 90% of GPT-4's performance
Wow.
with DeepSeek's models, but at a much lower cost.
That's a game changer.
Yeah. And Time Magazine actually reported that
Okay.
DeepSeek's most powerful models
Yeah.
are 95% cheaper
95%. That's insane.
than OpenAI.
So that means that AI could become much more accessible.
Exactly. It could be a huge democratizing force.
That's a really exciting prospect.
But there's a catch, right?
There's always a catch.
What about safety?
Ah, yes. The big question.
Because with great power comes great responsibility.
And these models are incredibly powerful.
Yeah. So there's this research paper on ArcSIF
Okay, what did they find?
back in January. And they looked at how safe these models are.
Like whether they generate harmful content?
Exactly. Or biased content.
That's a big concern.
And they found that DeepSeek R1
Yeah.
had a higher rate of unsafe outputs.
Oh no, how much higher?
They said around 12%,
Okay, that's not insignificant.
compared to OpenAI's O3 Mini,
Yeah.
which had a rate of 1.2%.
So a much lower rate for OpenAI.
Yeah, so OpenAI is still ahead on safety.
It seems like they're prioritizing that more.
Yeah, they've been doing this for longer.
They have more experience with these issues.
So it's a trade-off.
It is power versus safety,
DeepSeek is cheaper and in some ways more powerful.
but maybe not as safe.
So let's talk about their strategies.
Okay, how are they approaching this competition?
Yeah, what's their game plan?
So OpenAI's strategy seems to be all about infrastructure.
Yeah, they're throwing money at it.
$500 billion for Stargate.
It's a bold move,
They believe that's the key to winning.
having the most powerful computers.
Yeah, the biggest and best.
But Business Insider also reported that they might be considering becoming more transparent.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, maybe showing more of their work.
So people can understand how their models work.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
maybe even contribute.
That'd be a big shift for them.
So what about DeepSeek's strategy?
Well, they're going all in on open source,
Yeah, open and accessible.
making their models available to everyone,
And much cheaper.
which allows for more innovation.
Exactly, because more people can experiment with them.
It's a community-driven approach.
And the Wall Street Journal pointed out
Yeah.
that DeepSeek has been able to achieve all of this
Yeah.
despite the U.S. chip export restrictions.
Oh, right. Those are still in place.
Yeah, so they can't get the most advanced chips,
But they're still managing to innovate.
which is amazing.
It shows their resourcefulness.
Yeah, and Time even quoted DeepSeek's CEO saying, quote,
Let's hear it.
Bans on shipments of advanced chips are the problem,
Okay.
not money or talent.
So they're confident in their abilities.
Yeah, they're not letting it slow them down.
That's impressive.
So these different strategies are having an impact.
Oh, yeah.
Where are they gaining traction?
Right. Where are they winning?
So the Wall Street Journal said that DeepSeek R1
Okay.
has become incredibly popular.
Like how popular?
Like it even reached the top of the iPhone download rankings.
Wow, in the U.S.
In the U.S.
That's a big deal.
And Time Magazine corroborated that.
Okay.
They said that it even knocked ChatGPT
Oh, wow.
off the top spot.
So people are really downloading and using it.
Yeah, they're voting with their downloads.
That's a clear sign of its appeal.
But OpenAI still has a huge advantage.
In what way?
Like the Wall Street Journal pointed out,
Yeah.
that their models are already integrated
Yeah.
into so many businesses and industries.
They have that established presence.
Yeah, they've got a head start.
It's going to be hard to displace them.
And this competition is even affecting the financial markets.
Really? How so?
Yeah. So both Reuters and Time report that NVIDIA's stock price dipped.
NVIDIA, the chip maker.
Yeah, because investors are worried
About that.
that if DeepSeek can achieve all of this
Yeah.
with fewer chips,
Yeah.
then maybe the demand for NVIDIA's chips will go down.
That makes sense. The market is reacting.
Yeah, it shows you how much attention
Right.
everyone's paying to this.
It's high stakes.
So this whole thing with the U.S. chip export restrictions,
Yeah. What's the latest on that?
it's getting really interesting
How so?
because DeepSeek is clearly making progress.
Yeah.
Despite not having access to the best chips.
So are the restrictions working?
That's the question, right?
Yeah.
So DeepSeek claims
Okay.
that they trained their models with just 2,000
Okay.
second-tier NVIDIA chips.
So not the top of the line stuff?
Yeah, but Time also reported
Uh-huh.
that the CEO of Scale AI,
That's Alexander Wang.
yeah, he thinks DeepSeek might actually have way more chips,
Like how many?
like 50,000,
50,000 of the H100 GPUs.
the most powerful one.
That's a huge difference.
Yeah, so nobody knows for sure.
It's a mystery.
And Time also reported that
Yeah.
DeepSeek CEO met with China's premier
Oh, wow.
to talk about getting more chips.
So they're clearly still looking for more?
Yeah, they're not satisfied with what they have.
It's a crucial resource for them.
So this whole thing is also about geopolitics.
That's
right?
yeah, this is bigger than just two companies.
It's about the US and China.
Two superpowers vying for dominance.
And Mark Andreessen called DeepSeek R1, quote,
Okay.
AI's Sputnik moment.
Wow, that's a loaded comparison.
It's like a wake-up call.
That China is a serious contender.
Yeah, and Time Magazine talked about how
Yeah.
this could lead to a multipolar world in AI.
So not just one dominant power.
Yeah, like maybe China will have its own AI ecosystem.
That'll be a big shift.
And a former OpenAI policy staffer
Okay.
predicted that China could achieve
Yeah.
superintelligence
Wow.
within a year.
That's soon.
Yeah, there's no major conflict.
So the stakes are really high.
Yeah, it's a race against time.
And we have to remember
Yeah.
that DeepSeek is operating under very different rules.
No, they're in China.
And the Chinese government has a lot of influence.
Yeah, Time Magazine pointed out that DeepSeek R1 wouldn't answer questions
About what?
about the Tiananmen Square massacre.
Oh, wow. So they're subject to censorship
Yeah, their models are constrained.
by the Chinese government's policies.
So it's a very different ethical landscape.
It is. We have to consider that.
So let's recap here.
Okay, what have we learned?
What are the key takeaways?
Right, so DeepSeek is a serious challenger to OpenAI.
Yeah, they're not messing around,
They're showing impressive performance.
especially in reasoning.
Yeah, they beat OpenAI on that math benchmark.
And there was Chaster,
95% cheaper, according to Time.
which could make AI more accessible to everyone.
That's a huge potential benefit.
But OpenAI is still ahead on safety.
Yeah, they've been doing this for longer.
And they have much deeper integration.
Yeah, they're already embedded in so many systems.
And they're investing heavily in infrastructure.
With Stargate, they're trying to stay ahead.
And nobody knows for sure how many chips DeepSeek actually has.
It's a bit of a mystery.
But they're clearly pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, they're innovating despite the restrictions.
And this whole competition has geopolitical implications.
Oh yeah, it's a proxy war between the US and China.
It's about who will control the future of AI.
And it's happening right now.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have. It's been a fascinating journey.
And it's clear that this rivalry is going to shape the future of AI.
Absolutely. It's something everyone needs to be aware of.
So here's a question for you to think about.
Okay, what is it?
What's the most unexpected way?
Oh, unexpected.
Yeah, like totally out of left field.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
That This competition could change the future of AI
That's a good one.
and how accessible it is.
Yeah, who gets to use it?
Think beyond just the next model release.
Right, think bigger.
Yeah, like what about geopolitics?
Oh yeah, could there be major shifts in power?
Exactly. And what about ethical considerations?
Will those change how AI is developed?
Yeah. And how might all of these things come together in ways that we can't even imagine yet?
It's a mind-boggling question.
It is, but it's an exciting time to be following AI.
It certainly is. Things are changing so fast.
So keep your eyes open.
And your mind's open.
Because the future is being written right now.
And it's going to be wild. 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 And it's going to be wild.